Hello and welcome to another episode of the Golden Boots podcast. Our podcast is all about soccer, all things soccer. We love soccer. For episode 24, we have Dean Depinto. Dean is originally from the Jersey area. He is a current player at Winthrop. My man, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. The very first question that I wanted to ask you was, did you buy any, what's it called? The stock that just boomed. I messed it up, man.
I did actually. So I wasn't on the GameStop. I wasn't.
That's what I meant, GameStop.
But I went for Dogecoin, the cryptocurrency based off that dog meme from like 2014. I put like a little bit of money in there, and it's kind of booming right now.
Nice. So. All right, man. So we got a future millionaire here, which is good, man. Nice, man. How's the year treating you so far?
Year's treating me good. I mean, anything compared to 2020 is good, honestly.
Right.
You know, we're just trying to get back into the swing of things, get back to, some sort of normality.
Yeah.
But yeah, things are going good.
That's awesome, man. Well, cool. Well, on our podcast, we like to bring on different people from the area, kind of highlight players, people in the soccer world. So I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your story, man.
Yeah, so I was born up in northern New Jersey, moved down when I was pretty young. For most of my life, I was a basketball player. I loved basketball.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to be the next, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd.
Okay.
Type. I was the point guard. But, as time went on, I just wasn't getting as tall as I thought I was going to get. I was thinking, I was going to be like 6'7", 6'8" by freshman year of high school.
Okay.
And, it didn't pan out that way, but
I like your belief though.
I wanted to find a different sport, where I could still jump, use my hands, because I was really good at grabbing rebounds.
Okay.
And people were like, be a soccer goalie. I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And I started playing, really enjoyed it, and then as time goes on, people are like, yo, you're pretty good at this, pretty naturally talented at this. You should try to play club, get some actual training. And I was like, okay. So, yeah, I started out with Charlotte United back in 8th grade.
Okay.
Did a couple years.
Tell us about the first time you were in goal, man, because I feel like for a lot of people, when you first go in goal, the first time I went, I'm like, bro, just don't mess up, man. I hated it. But then there's some people that love it, that feel like they thrive off of it,
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. At first, it was so stressful. I probably let in 5-6.
Okay.
The first couple of games I played, honestly. But, as time goes on, it was one of those things I wanted to get better at. One of those things where I was like, I know I can be good at this. I want to get better at it.
Okay.
So, I just kept working, kept, listening to my coaches, taking every bit of advice that I could get and, just trying to improve. But,
nice.
Yeah, so I did a couple years at Charlotte United.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went, someone was like, if you really want to play in college, you want to play at the Division I level, and then onwards, you should really try and get into the DA program, with Carolina Rapids or which are now Charlotte Independence or CSA. And I was like, okay, great. So I tried out with both. Rapids gave me an offer sooner.
Nice.
So I just jumped on. I didn't want to risk anything waiting for CSA and potentially losing my offer with Rapids. So played 2 great years over there, junior and senior year of high school. And then had a couple offers coming out of high school, probably 4 or 5. None that I loved when it came to D1, so I decided to go D3 at Montclair State, which was 15 minutes away from where I was born.
Okay.
Had a ton of family up there, and, they told me I'd be their 4-year guy starting, and didn't quite work out that way when we went in there. I split time with another guy who transferred in from a local Division I school up there, and I knew if I was going to be that far away from home, I'd want to be thriving on and off the soccer field, and that just wasn't the case. So, I just want to look for other opportunities. Thankfully, one of my coaches from around here, Omar Badran, he had a link with the Winthrop goalkeeper coach and kind of got me in there really quick, went on a visit when I was home, and signed the papers, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. That's cool.
Here we are now.
Yeah, right. Cool. Well, before we get into you being in college, because I want to ask you a couple questions, tell us a little bit about a club. And I feel like when it comes to goalies, the training process or the methods are a little bit different, because, you're not running consistently. every position is different, but I feel like the most different is goalkeeper.
Oh yeah.
What kind of things were you guys training on, or what kind of stuff was your coaches like, okay, like this is what you need to work on to be a good goalkeeper?
So the first way to kind of distinguish it is like field players, like strikers, midfielders, defenders, their type of training is aerobic. So they're able to get oxygen to their muscles. I've been told goalkeeping is anaerobic. So while you're doing, it's a lot of jumping, like plyometrics. So like you're not able to get oxygen to your muscles, so your muscles get much more tired and like you feel like you're in more pain when you're training.
Really?
But you know, we work on the basic parts. It's diving, handling, which is just catching, coming out for crosses, one-on-ones, and distribution. So like kicking, throwing, all sorts of stuff like that. And that's the basis. You know, we get into tactics and stuff. And that's just,
nice. Is height important?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you see some short goalkeepers out there, man. Like I can think of Keylor Navas is not the tallest goalkeeper.
He's still 6'1", you know? Like
That's
he's
true,
a pretty tall guy. Like Casillas, he's seen as short. He's 6'1", you know? Like me, I'm 6'1", and I'm like, geez, I'm short next to some of these dudes.
Next to like Courtois, you'd be short, man.
Oh yeah, I'd be looking up to that guy. But so it's like you get to a point. It's like you can be, let's say, like 5'9" and up, and you probably won't struggle too much. Between 5'9" and like 6 foot, you know, your height might be a disadvantage. 6'1" to 6'2", you're kind of in a good range. And then like anywhere onwards, you're like really tall and like shouldn't have a problem when it comes to, I don't know, just like balls that are up high, crosses, you know, stretching out for certain saves. Yeah, it depends.
What's like your favorite moment when you're a goalkeeper? Is it when you make an important save, like the one-on-one stop? Like, tell us a little bit about that. What do you like the most?
Man, that's hard. I'd say what fires me up the most is, you know, like late game, it's like 0-0, 1-0, you know, you're up, you're trying to protect your clean sheet, you're trying to protect the 3 points. Like, if you make that last second, like last 5 minutes, let's say, like one-on-one save, get big, like really fires you up, or like a penalty save, like that's like the top level. Like you're feeling great after that.
Okay. Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about now when you went up to Montclair. I mean, you said you were around your family, which is good. It's a different mindset going from club to college. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a big mindset change that you have to have with yourself. You know, at that point, like, you know, as time goes on, like club soccer is less of like a hobby and more of like a job. Yeah. But like college soccer, I'm gonna say is completely a job. Like you're up at 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning. You're going out to training. You know what I mean? You know, probably on an empty stomach. Yeah. You got to train hard for 2 hours, hour and a half, and then get back, eat a quick breakfast, go to class. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's that grind, that day to day. You got to lift in there too. You know what I mean? It's so much different because you're doing this for like scholarship money, let's say, playing time, you know. In certain club levels, like everyone's guaranteed playing time. Even the highest club levels, you're guaranteed playing time. Yeah. Not in the college level. You're not guaranteed that playing time. And there's, especially at the goalkeeper position, there's one guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's one guy competing for that spot. And let's say you got 4 goalkeepers. That's typically what people hold, 3, 4. Yeah, it's tough. You really got to be there mentally and be confident and be willing to push through the adversity and everything you're going to have in your way.
Yeah, man, I think that's the most important thing because, I mean, like, even you're right, like, a midfielder, a defender, a striker, like, okay, like, you'll still have maybe 10, 15 minutes where you could get subbed in if you're doing well. A goalkeeper is kind of like, okay, like, this guy's my number one. So, like, just all that training for just a shot, right?
Exactly. Like, and if you're a backup, let's say you're second string, you still got to come with that mentality. You're chasing the number one, you know what I mean? Because you never know when that guy's going to go down. He'll get a red card. You never know. So, like, you just got to have that, you know, that killer mindset. You know, you just got to go into every training session, you know, work your butt off and try to earn those minutes.
Nice. How do you develop a killer mindset?
It's kind of an internal thing. Like, you know, you got to decide if you're passionate about the game. You know, that's the only way you can really get it is if you're passionate about it, you are a competitive person, you want to win, you know? If you want to win and you're willing to work your butt off, like, there's nothing stopping you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good, man. I think you touched on something that I like a lot, passion. I mean, people underestimate the power of passion, man, because like I think that's what distinguishes a career from a job. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
for sure.
whether you're a professional soccer player or whatever you do, like if you're passionate about something, the stuff that sucks, you'll still do it anyways, you know, because you're passionate about it and you'll put good effort versus like in a job, like you're just kind of, I know I've personally done this in the past, just done the bare minimum because it's not something I'm passionate about, you know?
Exactly. And it's like these days, like we're all about instant gratification. We want it now. We want it immediately. But like with something you're passionate about, I feel like you kind of put that aside and you know, like it's about the journey with this thing for me. You know, this thing means something to me. So I'm going to work day in and day out because I want this to be the biggest part of my life. You know what I mean? So, and that may be a kind of extreme when it comes to certain things, like let's say soccer, like maybe you're a college soccer player. You don't have to have that exact mindset, but like, you know, that's just kind of like an example of it.
Yeah. Well, I think it all depends too, like on the level that you want to play at, right? Like if college is your max, then you'll have a college mentality. If you want to be pro, you'll have a pro mentality. Like you can kind of tell, right? Like when you go, okay, like this guy takes it super serious. This other guy is just here because he likes soccer and maybe on the weekends he'll go party. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And you have both, you know, probably more of the party type than others. A lot of people know, like, they're like, this isn't what I want to do for my life. Yeah. And like, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Still a valuable part of the team. But then you have those guys that, you know, they have that fire in their eyes. They want to, you know, compete every single day. They're angry if they lose. You know what I mean? They're holding people accountable. They're yelling at people, you know? And those are the guys that are probably going to make it out there, you know, in the professional world.
100%, man. I think it's all about the mentality that you have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. How was it like being around your family in Jersey?
I mean, it was great, you know, getting to see them all the time, like, because I moved away, like, I only get to see them, like, once or twice a year. My grandparents are getting pretty old, so it was nice to be able to spend some time with them, go eat dinner over there on Sundays and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something, like, I'll value for a while, like, treasure it, because, like, you know, they're not always going to be there.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting choice that you made, like, to go near a school where, like, your family was close to.
Yeah.
I think, well, for most of us, like, anytime I thought of college, like, okay, like, I go to UNCC, but I'm, like, 15 minutes from the house. Now let me go somewhere that's kind of far.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. It was far away.
Oh, yeah.
It was North Carolina to Jersey. Yeah. But it's not my parents.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
It's like my cousins and my aunts, my uncles, and grandparents.
Okay. Did you find that difficult or no?
No, not at all. I was living on campus. I could see them whenever I wanted. Okay. I didn't have a car, so they had to pick me up. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Well, tell us some of those differences then in terms of training for goalkeepers at the college level versus club.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it obviously depends. Like every goalkeeper coach is different. Like any goalkeeper could tell you that. They all have their different, you know, ideas on what, like their different theories and philosophies or whatever. But the difference is that like the amount of reps you get in a certain set. So let's say in club soccer, we're hitting 6 saves in one set. In college, it may be 8 to 10, maybe 12. You know, you're working higher intensity typically. It just depends, though. Like, it really does depend on what team you play for, who your coach is. But definitely a bit more intense at times, and they're going to expect a whole lot more out of you. Yeah. Certain saves, they're going to expect you to hit that, you know, that 40-yard long ball, like 9, 10 times out of 10, you know. It's just a higher standard mostly, not so much harder workouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the quality goes up on the
It's the quality, definitely. Yeah.
Nice. Tell us about the mindset of competition then. That's something that we haven't touched on here. You know, like when you're competing for somebody for that number one spot, like what's that like? Give us kind of like a day-to-day mindset breakdown of that.
I'm a good guy to ask this question, too, because I've had to do it a lot of times. I've been on a lot of teams, a lot of competition. And but I would say the main thing, you can't get stuck in, like, the land of, like, comparison, always comparing yourself to that other guy. You know, making them your standard for how good you're going to be.
That's good.
You need to keep it internal, You can't get, butthurt if they do good, because, like, everybody eats, they're still your teammate.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to be happy for them, ride their highs, and help them out when they're in their lows as well. But, like, you got to be ready, like, when they're at their low, like, that's when you come in. Let's say I'm speaking, like, let's say we're second string, But even if you're the first string, you got to know that guy behind you is coming for you. So you have to set the example for them and kind of, like, establish yourself. I'm the leader. I'm going first in the drills. I'm taking more reps because I'm the starter. You know what I mean? You got to let them know. Like, and it sounds kind of mean, but that's kind of how you got to get competitive about it.
I like that, man. I love that, too, because I feel like that's a very kind of, like, I don't know, like, it's such a fine line that you have to play with as well, because on one hand you're happy for your teammate, but on the other hand you're like, okay, like, dang, like, he's doing good, like, okay, like,
what does that mean for me?
Yeah,
exactly. Like, but at the end of the day, like, you gotta always like, it's kind of like you gotta be friends with them, like they're your friends and stuff, but on the field, like, you kind of got to put that behind you a little bit, kind of just try to, I don't even know.
I got you.
I kind of said what I needed to say about that.
I think culture plays an importance in that as well. Like, there's always a culture within competition, I believe.
Oh, for sure.
Some teams that, like, you see that aren't together, like, situations like that kind of deteriorate them. Versus teams that have a common goal and common purpose. Like, okay, like, I may not be doing the best now, or this guy's doing better than me, but, like, hey, at least the team is succeeding, so let me do my part, right?
Yeah, for sure. But touching on that, like, they're, like, different. So we call it a goalkeeper core. It's like our 3 or 4 guys. At the different schools I've been at, there's definitely been a different culture among the groups of goalkeepers. Like, with one, it was like there was way more animosity, like, for the 1 and 2, like, going at it. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes getting in arguments and stuff like that, petty little things, like getting a little bit, a little too hurt about certain things and getting into it. But, like, the other group, we're all, like, together. We're a group. We're building each other up. We're always fist bumping each other, telling each other good job. It's just different cultures, different places, different types of people.
Nice.
That's what I've been able to experience. And
okay,
it's been a nice thing to experience, honestly.
Have you what benefits did you find from both?
So from both, like, let's say, so, like, from the first one I was talking about, it really taught me to, like, be gritty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not take anything from anybody. If somebody's getting in my face and getting loud with me, like, I will get loud and get in your face back. Like, I'm not just going to roll over and let you, alpha me or whatever. But with the other one, it's teaching me, like, it's good to build people up, because when everybody's morale is high, the team as a whole is better.
100%.
And that's, to me, is way more important than, being ultra competitive and trying to beat out your own teammates for the spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're on the team and you are trying to win a chip. You're trying to win a trophy. Like, that's what the main goal is.
I got you. Yeah, man. I like that, man, because I think you can learn from everything. Like, to me, I learn more from, like, the tougher situations than I do from when things are going easier for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, sure, we all do. We all do that. Like, it really is the tough situations and the uncomfortable ones that are really going to build character and make us better.
100%. But I think sometimes what happens is that people fold under that pressure, and, like, they're afraid to try things again because they failed once. But, like, nah, homie, like, okay, like, it might have been the worst thing ever, but you know what? Like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and cry?
Exactly.
Continue. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You just got to, if it's back to that instant gratification thing I was saying before. You got to get back up. You got to keep working at it, because, like, the things that are the best things in life are the things you got to work the hardest for, in my opinion.
I love that. Yeah.
Like, certain things come easy, great things come easy, but also there's just going to be those things that you got to put your head down and work for, and then it's going to pay off at the end of the day.
And the satisfaction for those things, man,
exactly,
is sky high.
It's way deeper than any, like, game or, like, social media app could give you. You know what I mean? Like, 100%. It's so much deeper than that.
What Can you tell me about maybe like your most memorable game for Montclair?
Yes, I can. So we were, I think we were ranked third in the conference at the time, and we were kind of competing for like number 1, number 2, number 3, because like basically the way it works to get into the NCAA playoff is the winner of the conference tournament for every conference goes, but depending on like strength of schedule and like your record, you can get an at-large bid to get into the tournament.
Gotcha.
So we were in third place behind these two teams that were like, okay, one of them had beaten us, we tied the other one. And we were going into the last game of the regular season against this team called Kane University. And it was
Kane University, I like that. It just makes me think of the wrestler.
It's spelled like Keen, though, Kean.
Okay.
But, so we're at home. It's the last home game of the season, and then we're going into the conference tournament. So it's a big game. And, so I ended up coming out of it, like, I think, like 6 to 8 saves. We won 2-0 and got us to second place in the conference. So we ended up playing a worse team in the first round of the playoffs, rolled over them, get to the conference championship. We win in the last minute. And then,
man.
So
what's that feeling like, winning in the last minute?
I mean, it was surreal. Like, we all it was the 90th minute. Like, the ref blew the whistle as he was scoring it. So, like, we just ran out there.
Nice.
Like, we were just.
What's
crazy.
a goalie celebration like, man? Because I mean, like, it's so much different than like a field player. You know what I'm saying?
It depends how big the goal is. Like, sometimes it's just like a little like fist bump, or like you're jumping up, you're going over the crowd, like you're hyping them up. It depends.
Nice, man. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just thinking about that. Like, someone scores a last-minute goal and you're in the back. Like, everybody runs. I'm like, I guess you run too, right?
Yeah, no. If it's like a really sick goal or you won the game, you gotta bust out a full sprint.
100%, man. Yeah, like I'm a big Liverpool fan, and I remember a couple seasons ago when Liverpool beat United, Alisson running all the way up to Salah. Like, that man made a huge sprint. I'm like, good Lord, he's probably tired.
Yeah, you get there, you're walking back, you're like.
Nice. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, that was it. And then we ended up getting. We won a bunch of games in the playoffs, got to an Elite Eight, ended up losing, but, we were minutes away from a Final Four. But, like, I look back on that moment, and I'm like, things could have been really different. We would have played a much different team. Yeah. Let's say we lost that game. We may have gone down to fourth and played the third seed who had beaten us in the season. Yeah. You never know what could have happened. So that was just a big one for me.
I like that, man, because, I mean, I feel like the best thing you can do is just be at your best. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you have no idea where that's going to lead to.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Nice. Was there a goalkeeper that you kind of modeled your game around or that you really loved?
I mean, yeah, I love Atletico Madrid's goalkeeper, Jan Oblak.
Okay.
Love
Beast.
Him. You can't go wrong with Marc-Andre ter Stegen for Barcelona. And then I love Dean Henderson. We share a name.
Okay.
And, he's on the rise. He's a good young goalkeeper playing for United now.
Yeah. I was going to say Dean. Okay. Yeah, he's good. I think he'll take a De Gea's spot eventually.
I think he will too. Yeah, De Gea's been carrying them for too long. He's worn out.
Nice, yeah. What kind of things is it certain things that you learned from these goalkeepers, or is it just like you just like their style?
I just really like to watch them, honestly. Like, I don't really try to model my game after anybody because at the end of the day, they're professionals. I'm not. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, I'm not there at their training sessions. Like, we're both good in different things. Like, but I just kind of look at them and I admire, like, what they do well. And maybe, like, if I see a certain technique they use, like, in, let's say, a one-on-one save, I try to practice that or something, see if it works for me better, Yeah. Just stuff like that.
I like that, man. What would you say would be the top 3 keys to being a good goalkeeper from in your opinion?
All right, so the top 3 keys are, you're going to be like, what? So, number 1, biggest thing is mental toughness. You need to be able to, first of all, get hit back, get scored on, get up, make the save the next play. Like, you need to bounce back. That's the biggest thing. Short-term memory loss. They always tell us, like, short-term memory, next one. Like, but then
I love that, man. Let's touch on a little bit on that, because I think that's the position where you need to have the most mental toughness.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you make 5-6 saves, but then you mess up really bad and your team ends up losing 1-0, the goalie still gets blamed, bro. Versus a striker can miss 7, 8, 9, 10 times. They score 1 goal and you win 1-0. It's a totally different kind of level of expectation and how you see things. It's kind of like, I like to think of like people that like are behind the scenes working cameras and stuff. Like, nobody notices them until something goes wrong. Then we're all looking, right?
Or if they do something insanely good. But yeah, it's not super rewarding at times. It's kind of like a self-rewarding thing. You're like, you gotta definitely be the one to tell yourself, good job. That's why you hear like goalkeepers are crazy. Like, goalkeepers like talk to themselves and go and, like anything to not like get bored back there. Let your mind slip. But yeah.
Nice, awesome. What's your key number 2?
All right, key number 2 would be I would say confidence. Confidence all day long. Like, if you're not playing with confidence, the strikers can smell it. Like, it's like the law of attraction. You know what I mean? If you're not confident in there, things are just not going to bounce your way. You know what I mean?
True.
You got to be like, I'm the man. I'm the guy. No one's getting past me. Even if they do, no one's getting past me.
Yeah.
Like, when you make a save, get loud sometimes, If you're proud of yourself, let them know. You know, that kind of gets in their heads a little bit. It's all about confidence, though, because I know when I've been the most confident, I've been the most dominant, you know, like by a long shot.
That's true, man. I think it's that self-talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, confidence comes a lot from that self-talk. And I think as a goalie, like, that's something that, like you just mentioned, I was like, that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah, it's all about self-talk, positive self-talk. But you can't, we all goalkeepers acknowledge their mistakes. Even if they blame it on somebody else, they tell us to do that sometimes. Just blame it on somebody else. Get it out of your head, And, like, that's kind of a good coping mechanism, but, like,
striker is your fault. I wasn't even there.
Exactly. Blame it on the striker, whoever.
Some coach. Kid eating popcorn in the stands. You're like, it's your fault.
Blame it on the kid eating a popsicle in Rosie. Anybody. But like, you're never gonna hide from your own mistakes. You can't hide from yourself. You just gotta, reassure yourself, like, you're here for a reason. You have the skill. Get out of your head. Let's go next one.
Nice. That's awesome. That's that short-term memory, man.
Exactly.
I never heard that short-term memory was good until now.
This is pretty much the only part of life that short-term memory is good.
Nice. Awesome. If you ever, like, when you get married or you forget something that your wife says in the future, you're like, yo, I was taught short-term memory. I'm sorry.
I'm a goalie. That's what they teach us.
Nice. Key number 3, man. What's key number 3 for you?
Key number 3. I would say to separate yourself. We can all goalkeepers can make saves. That's what we do. But I would say, like, at the higher levels, it's the distribution piece that's really going to separate you. How are you at passing the ball? Can you help your team build? Are you a good asset? Are you that 11th man? Because that's what every team's philosophy is basically nowadays, is 11 players, including the goalkeeper. Barcelona kind of started with that, and then everyone else just kind of adopted it. You see goalkeepers like Ederson, who can hit that 80-yard ball. You know what I mean? Like, that's the pinnacle, in my opinion. That's as good as it gets. But, like, if you can hit that diagonal ball to the outside back, if you can help, create some triangle passing with your center backs, kind of move the press around, and build out of there. That really is big, especially when it comes to tryouts and coaches.
Nice, man. Yeah, actually, that's very true, man. I feel like more, like, especially in the more modern times, it's not just good enough to be good with your hands. Like, you have to be good with your feet now. You know what I'm saying?
The hands are a given. It's like, that's like the baseline. That's a prerequisite. And then everything else, is what's important.
Especially if you're if the style of play for your coach is okay, like, let's kind of that tiki-taka mindset, right?
Exactly. I mean, in the college game, you got teams that love to play the boom ball, like just long ball all the way up. But most teams like to play nowadays. But even still, that goalkeeper has got to be able to hit that that long ball and make that, that mid-range
Yeah,
pass.
'cause they'll be the first ones for the counter.
Exactly. You got to keep the ball for your team. If you're turning the ball over for your team, coach is not going to be happy, man.
Yeah. Nice. Well, cool, man. My last question then I have to you is, what has soccer taught you about success?
Oh, man. It's taught me a lot of things, but it's taught me, like, most of all, like, the first thing that comes to my head is, like, if you're not happy where you're at, move somewhere else. Like, you're not stuck. Like, you're never stuck, The pathway to success, like, it's not a straight line.
Yep.
You're gonna take dips. You're gonna be out of form. You're not gonna play as well, and then you're gonna have super high highs. You know what I mean? And then sometimes you're just gonna be riding in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be able to deal with it at any place and realize that's just a part of it. And, like, I feel like that's a lot how life is. You know what I mean? Just in general. And but yeah, that's probably been the biggest thing for me. That's taught me a lot.
I like that, man, because I feel like sometimes we can get stuck in something and think we just need to grind it out. But, like, sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you have to look at everything and be like, okay, like, what's going to make me the best? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, yeah.
Because I feel like that's in anything. Like, I see people that have jobs that they're not happy at or that they make good money, but I'm like, okay, like, what else is there? Like, you have to be internally happy, too, because if you're not, like, it's just going to spill over in every other aspect of life.
Exactly. Like, what is life about? You know what I mean?
100%,
at the end of the
man.
day, like, if you're not doing what you enjoy doing, what you're passionate about, like, you're wasting your own time and everybody else's time. Like, understand, like, a lot of people, you have priorities. You got to make money for your family. That's one thing. But, like following your passions is big when it comes to just, like, personal and mental health,
100%, man. Well, awesome. Well, this concludes another episode of the Golden Boots podcast. Dean, thank you so much for coming on, my man.
Thank you so much for having me.